In order for the Board of Public Works and Safety, Monday, May 1st, 2023. Roll call, please.
Member Hickman?
Here.
Member Martin?
Here.
Member Olson? Here.
Request approval of the April 3rd minutes.
Second.
Moving second in discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Order of business, request approval of the 2023 Northwest Fox Lake Sanitary Force Main Extension. You okay with that, I assume?
Yeah, so this is really approval of the language in general. So this will be, once it's completed, it will become essentially a utility availability agreement. So you'll see this contract in front of you again at the end of construction when we formally adopt and accept this infrastructure. So this is just more making sure that Board of Works is okay with the general language of the contract, so.
Any question? Motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Sherry Carpenter, 228 Broadmoor Circle regarding drainage issues on the property. Sherry?
Hi.
Hey. You'd
Yes.
like to, you're welcome to step up here.
I'm gonna have,
Or whichever.
I'm gonna have my neighbor, Christine Reddish, she came, we both live in, she's at 230 and I'm at 228. And Dave came to our neighborhood, when he was campaigning for tomorrow's election. And I just happened to have him come back in my backyard and look at the water standing, and with all the rain that we've had this spring, he made the suggestion to have Chad Ritter and Amanda Cope come over and look at the situation. And they said possibly putting in a French drain. And Dave showed me the location where it would be, but Christine has a lot more information as input for, she's lived there longer than I have. And the bottom line is it affects her property borderlining mine because the water is all downhill coming from two houses because of the way the addition was set up. So I'll let her explain a little further.
Yeah, as you'll see in the pictures, on my particular lot, I have French drains already installed in the ground, but the topography of the land has changed because of basically in essence, it's almost like a river flowing down onto my property from the properties above, that my drains are no longer able to be effective because, it's a different pattern of water now. And it just progressively has gotten worse and worse over the years. I've lived there 6 years and
I'll be there 4 years in September.
yeah, and we literally can't, the water's not coming on it's not, coming from our property. It's coming from the properties that are above the hill, and we can't contain the water. It's excessive and it's creating damage. My house is almost flooded on multiple occasions due to this water. As you can see in the pictures, I've been out there in rainstorms taking pictures. My drains are all tiled on my downspouts. So I'm doing what I can to control the water that's on my property. But again, the water, and I sent Mr. Martin a video, and I have it on my phone if any of you would like to see it. It's literally like a river that comes down my property. You can see, I took, one of the pictures is of part of the video, but you can't see the video without me.
Have you talked to any contractors about what needs to be done there?
Well, I was looking into it like a beehive grate, that would catch the water so it can't flow down the hill. But I called last year, I'm trying to think of the guy that does a lot of the MNC trenching and wasn't able to get a phone call back. I think it's a relatively small project for maybe people like them, and they don't really want to do that kind of work in existing neighborhoods. I'm not sure. But, and I also called Lawn MD, and they were not interested in doing, that kind of work. So we just don't know really what to do at this point. It's not something we can manually dig. It needs to be trencher.
Amanda, did you go out?
Yeah, so Chad and I went out and I put this on your guys' desk. So we kind of looked out to see potential options. I will put out that the caveat is I don't believe that these options will completely fix the problem. They will just mitigate and help the problem. But essentially, like on your sheet, option A, so on the left hand, would be putting in a structure and a tile on the south side of 228 Broadmoor Circle, and then daylighting that water towards the street, basically at the sidewalk. And then option B would be to put a tile in the back of 228, a structure between 228 and 230, which are both of their homes, and then another tile which would go towards the street. We talked to a contractor and we had a contractor kind of price out each of these options. Option A is $3,850. Option B, $6,400 for a total together of $10,250. So if you want to give the most latitude to the Board of Works of looking at either option A, option B, or the combination would be the best case scenario for the homeowners.
I've been out there, you and I walked out there and I had, that was a couple years ago, and I had to help, I was gonna drown and it's underwater. Amanda, I want to ask two questions. One, this is how the subdivision was developed.
Yes.
So how do we prevent this from continuing to happen?
So, a multitude of things, some of which we already have in place. So, developments that are newer, we're starting to require the developer to put structures and piping in the back of lots that are prone to this. Jennifer and I actually just had a conversation today about things that we can do during development, such as requiring all of the lots to be graded before we accept infrastructure, which essentially that's kind of one of the main problems is that these lots are not graded how they were designed. A home builder comes in, has extra dirt, they push the dirt to the back, now we have no swales. That's pretty common of what happens. So there's things with better enforcement that we can try to mitigate these future problems from happening. Jennifer also talked about requiring as-built on each individual lot, which is something that we've never really done, of ensuring that before a home gets a final C of O, everything is proper elevation, swales are properly in. So that will help that. We see situations, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but situations where over time homeowners just eventually fill in their swales. They don't want to mow it, or that's their easy place to put lawn clippings or leaves or things like that, or fences go up. So there's all kinds of.
In this situation, it's happened like that. It's just.
No, I mean, that's just what we see in general.
My second question has to do with, okay, let's say we fix this. What's to prevent down the road people at 230 or 232 coming in and saying, well, we got the same problem?
Nothing.
They get a little bit better drainage.
Well, but at the same time, it's just, everything's downhill. You know, so,
I mean, there's a big well.
maybe Tesla's next to you.
It's Mike Hess's is at the bottom of the hill. And I do know the year that my house almost flooded, he actually did have a flood in his house and had to have remediation done because the water, just was excessive.
It was
For all of us.
amazing. It was amazing.
For all of us.
We can't. The likelihood is not as bad if most of the water is taken care of here. Best guesstimate.
Sure. I mean, but once you start doing work like this, I think you'll get more people that will come in and make the same requests.
in the past, if we've done anything, I'd like, we didn't create the problem, but they didn't either, of talking about splitting the cost. Anything within the
You want to split the
you
cost?
or you.
Well, we would like to see if you could approach a couple of our neighbors that are on past us, and perhaps where their water is flowing on our property, for us to split that cost just between the two of us, for us, because we both have to redo all of our yards at this point. It becomes kind of pricey for her and I to do that and get our, as you can see in the picture, I did have a nice yard. It was taken care of. If you go out there today, there's ruts. I can't even mow that whole side of my property. I have weeds. I need to have somebody come in and totally redo my yard on that whole, I guess it's south side of my property. So yes, I'd like to have this fixed and I do appreciate you helping us, but I'd also like you to see if you can get some other neighbors. The other thing that I noticed, none of my other neighbors have their downspouts tiled, and this is another concern with builders. When you take a house structure and you have the roof runoff, the water shed, and their downspouts are not tiled, that also, and the way it's where their downspouts are placed, it's also running right into this hill. So that just magnifies the problem. And again, it's something that, a builder, it's pennies on the dollar when they're building the house, but it costs the homeowner much more to do that after the fact. But it'd be nice if other people could be approached to contribute.
And I don't know if Mr. Martin, did you talk to Hicks's or, and Bowen's just got back last
I
week.
tried to connect with him and wasn't very successful.
Okay, and then Bowen's just got back last week from Florida, and I talked to them yesterday, and they said they have no issue with the water, even though it's coming off their roof line. And
We cannot require, the city doesn't have the authority to require them to do it. We can't force them
Right.
to do it. We can ask them, but they can say no, and that's the end of the conversation. We just don't have that authority.
Man, which one do you think is the best option?
I think it's a private issue.
Do you say none of these, or this is your,
I mean, I understand.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
How much of the water is, obviously, the further down the hill you get, the more water you add to the situation, but how much, if we put an inlet on, by Plan A, how much of the water are we gonna divert, do you think, that's going all the way down the hill? Half of it, 3/4 of it? You got a feel for how much area is there?
What do you think, half, maybe, a third?
Third, depending on the rain event.
Third?
Well, I can see a problem if we get involved with doing B, because now you've got easement right-of-way issues and a lot more buried pipe that you're gonna have to deal with.
I will say, I guess I kind of skipped over that. There is a utility easement in the back of these lots. There are no utility easements between the lots.
Are we within, would the tile in Plan B would be within the easement?
The one in the rear, yes. But we would,
not between, the one that's between the.
we do not have any easements between the lots. So either option would require an easement if they become city infrastructure. If it's private infrastructure, an easement wouldn't be required.
Where about in this picture is the structure in option B? Is it right in this area right here? You got an idea?
Let's say it's probably back if I had to guess, but I'm not sure, yeah.
So you'd intercept this water
This is the
here?
inside of her home.
Yes.
I'd say it's further back, but I'm not certain.
You live 230.
230.
You live 230?
and I'm 228.
Who's 226?
226 is Bowen's.
And they have no problems with the water over there.
Correct.
They're on the high side, so they're in.
But the water's coming from 224 down. Starts at 224.
So you're also getting some of her water.
I get the
You know,
majority,
she
I
gets
get the majority of the water.
That's why she.
Mine is the lowest
So
point.
what is this? So we got pictures from your house. Well, tell me about the water between your house and the Bowen's house.
It's not that bad. It's more towards the road where they were gonna do number A. It's in between the two homes.
Okay, so Amanda, why are we doing this? Why are we putting this structure between 220 and 230?
Why are we or why aren't we?
Why aren't we?
That's option B. The structure between 228 and 230.
You can't do the same setup of option A between 220 and 230?
Yeah, that's option B.
It looks like there's more tiling and stuff like that.
Well, if you're going to put a structure and a pipe going to the street between 228 and 230, you would want to put the pipe that's in the back of 228 to try to capture that as it comes across, rather than letting that all just sheet flow across there. There's a lot of, there's a hill and then there's a large area that does not have grass that comes down. I mean, we could probably remove that 4-inch tile if you guys would want, which would reduce that a little bit, but I don't know that would be.
The neighbor's property where Sherry is, and her property, other people, I have pictures. There all used to be grass on that hill, which it was hard to
I
mow.
remember.
But now the people have all killed the grass because it's too hard to mow. And so the grass at least slowed the water down and absorbed some of it. And now that's even made it worse because now there's no grass there.
Would you be willing to split it 3 ways? You two and the city, you kick in $1,500 a piece, then we kick in $3,400 and we'll do option B.
I guess I need to see where option B is on the.
Well, it puts the tile behind your property, just dry out that area and put a structure between the two of you, but we would also need an easement to go down that property.
Here, this is where.
Is that, am I on the right track for you guys?
Yes. I don't want to, we're not getting any rain problems in 226 unless I do it.
Well, I think option B is the better of the two, yeah. Obviously doing both is, but I think that's over the top. I think that might be a little bit too much.
226 is not fair.
No, the water runs right off
Yeah,
and he's on
it's
ice.
uphill.
And even 224, the same way.
Yeah.
Structure.
The water just runs right off and that's where it's all.
Are they responsible for putting it all?
Yeah, I went out there one time. Christine called me.
Chad?
This is not even hooking up 228's gutters. None of these are hooking up any of the house gutters into it.
No, so if they want to do that, they can.
That's over and above.
Yeah, they should do that if that's what.
We would agree to that.
Yeah, so did you hear? Remember, there was a side,
Would do that?
there was a side conversation. Chad, will you say it again?
I said, that's not hooking any of 228's gutters up to any of them. That's going right past it.
Which would help the situation, if you put your gutters into that,
You would have to pay them extra to run your gutters in.
but it wouldn't be too awful expensive, would it? Chad, what do you think?
Well,
Her one
it'd
gutter,
probably be, I can't guess, but probably no more than $400, $500.
That would definitely make things a whole lot better if you do that.
Yeah.
I want them to be a private because I can't get to them to clean them in the backyards with the Vector. So I have no way to clean out those catch
That's
basins.
true. Good point.
None.
All right. You guys okay with doing this?
Okay.
How to clean it out? Let's say someday down the road it has to be cleaned out.
They will about twice a year.
Twice a year?
Well, that's what we do, every one of them in the city. They fill up with,
How do we do the one we did down at Van Herman's house? We put that big structure in their backyard to clean up the flooding back there.
I don't.
The homeowner cleans it.
Okay.
That's I mean, you can't
You just clean out the catch basin.
drive a semi across people's yards to get in the backyard.
But Ron cleans it?
you know, your gutter
Your mom and dad do?
The poor people, you know, dug it and put it all the way to the back.
So how would they clean it? Take the grate off.
Have to pay someone to come in with a ditch witch and suck it out
Shovel it out.
Yeah.
or shovel it out,
We cut it
depending on the depth of it too,
pipe.
how much water it holds, all that.
That water would be coming on my head.
Right, right. As long as if we could include that in the price.
You know, Grant, Garcia, have you heard what Jeff was saying about the cleaning of the structure?
So I just have, would it be like what would we have to do? Would it be like a black tile?
Experts.
It's gonna be a concrete structure. Am I right on that, Amanda? It's gonna be where the storm catch basins are. It'll be a big concrete structure. Being in the backyard, you get grass on it. Maybe once a year, maybe you might get away with it every 2 years. You might have to pay someone to come in and they call them little ditch witches. They suck them out
Mm.
and haul it away. If they fill up with mud and grass clippings and all that, once they get above the tiles, they don't.
You wouldn't have to clean the tile itself. Though.
No, just
Catch basin.
the catch basin.
So that's a potential weakness down the road here on this because the city would not do that for you. You'd have to do that yourselves.
I guess I'm interested if Amanda could add to the price to split 3 ways than my gutters being, because they already did one, I already had one gutter already put into a tile, just last June.
Christie had to run it out in the back, which kind of made things worse. We shouldn't have.
Let's table this. I'll let you guys just more talking. Because we're asking to make some questions and comments, and then you guys probably should talk with them a little bit. But I think we have to make some commitments. They're going to make.
Yeah, at least we're headed into a drought.
Yeah, well, I'd like to table this and then let you guys talk to Jeff and then to Chad and Amanda, so that we get this a little bit more concrete, obvious. I think you need to be aware of everything that's being asked, not only of us, but also of you guys. Anna, you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. What information would you like?
Well, I'm such as cleaning out this thing and how much is that gonna cost, and if we're adding something to it, I don't wanna say, and we're gonna give an extra whatever. I mean, we need how much.
You want firmer numbers on
Yeah, I do.
connecting.
Plus, I think you need to know what the thoughts are.
And include the gutter part of it
Well,
too.
that would be another option because the gutters, that's your gutter.
Right, but
Yeah. And so if we're gonna do this,
we have to do it correctly.
All right, well,
I moved it.
bring it back next.
I'd like to bring this back up. Can you guys talk with these two? I moved to table.
I move the table, and further discussion. And bring it back to next meeting.
Sure.
Thank you.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carried. Department head report.
Love for me back.
Okay.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
No, Jennifer? Nope.
Could you stick around? Could you stick around?
Certainly.
Okay.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
No report, Mayor.
No report, Mayor. Ed?
Nothing, Mayor.
Bruce? No report. Amanda?
Nothing, sir.
All right. Is there any other business? If not, next meeting is Monday, June the 5th. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. I am right there.